start. How does the mic sound? Does everything sound clear?
Sound amazing. You sound beautiful, brother. Sky
Yeah,
high.
yeah. Sky
Logan
high.
Paul versus Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Oh, I was just saying how like I think it's a mockery, because I don't feel like Jake Paul has really fought real boxers, and when he did, he lost.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
Like,
Was Tommy Fury right?
yeah, Tommy Fury. And it's usually people that are like 10 to 12 years older than him that are ex MMA fighters or basketball players that are, 8 inches shorter than him. It's
Mm.
like it's I mean, at the same time, right now it's entertainment, and I guess we can give credit where credit's due on that stuff, but as far as the actual boxing, it's like I don't know. It's not there yet. Now, I do think though he's boxed enough to a point where he's getting good, if that makes sense. He's been fighting like mockery fights to getting paid, and now he could probably hold his own on someone who might box, but maybe not as much, but still, if that makes sense at all.
I agree. I think that he's
Yeah.
buying himself time to learn, but he's also
Mm-hmm.
bringing eyes to the sport from an entertainment standpoint. I agree with you. I think it's that kind of that idea of, when people talk about like when we talk about basketball, right? 90s
Mm-hmm.
basketball versus fucking today's basketball. Totally different
Yeah,
sports almost. And then you
completely
factor
different.
in, yeah, what were they getting paid back then, and the
Mm-hmm.
physicality and kind of the type of, talent that was making it onto the floor versus today, which is almost a reverse, like super uber talented, players, but the game ruling and the gameplay is a lot more video game like. And it's not necessarily their fault. They just kind of adhere to how rules kind of change through the times. And, it brings for entertainment, quote unquote, entertaining style
Yeah.
of basketball. So I think with boxing, like when we were watching Tyson, it was almost like, oh, this is a guy who is like a trained fighter, like a very high level trained fighter, and he
Mm-hmm.
brings an entertainment aspect that I don't even think he intended to. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of was himself, but in being himself, it was just this spectacle. Like where say today, like the Paul brothers, right? Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's, like they're just off the cuff, but they are entertainers. We could at least admit to that. So I think with
I
that
mean, they were
comes a
Disney
lot.
kids, right? Weren't they Disney actors? So they're entertainers.
They were,
They're,
I don't know if they were Disney, but they were definitely actors young, or they were in the entertainment side young. So I
yeah.
think with that, it's almost like, is what they're doing, because they probably had like a sit down in like a 5, 10 year game plan or whatever about how this is going to play out. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
and for good measure, like you could make, I agree with you in the argument that it's almost to the public eye because there's a brand new audience watching
Mm-hmm.
boxing through this avenue. It's like, oh, I mean, this isn't really the best representation, but there's eyes. And that's kind of a lot of people. Some people's sentiment are like, oh well, people are watching it at least. Now they're bringing
Yeah.
eyes to it. Which, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of right there, and I don't know if it's by happenstance, but I was watching that. Oh, I'm forgetting his name already. Was it Haney? I forgot. Was it who fought recently? Who's the short dude
I,
with the lefty, super quick?
I don't follow
Oh,
boxing as much, but
my bad. It's all good. But yeah, that's how I started really getting on, because once I started, kind of the Paul stuff was in the algorithm a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then started noticing other fights, and then that kind of put me back on to just seeing today's talent.
yeah.
But either way, I agree with you. It's like this isn't the best representation, but damn, is this the way it's got to be to put shit into the public eye? Dude, it's almost like,
That's
do we
where
got to
we're
make a
at.
mockery of it? Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. I mean, it's kind of like, and I refer to music a lot, but it's kind of like where hip hop is now. It's like it's trap, and it's mainly trap, and it's like I guess this is what it is now. I'm not trying to call trap a mockery, but it's just like it became something, and now that is the new standard of what it is, and it's a stranglehold. I think right now with the advent of like social media and people becoming like YouTubers, TikTokers, or whatever, getting paid like that. Um, which is like I said, we've talked about this before. It's a good thing people are getting paid in ways, but then it's also kind of like you wonder the authenticity of things, you know, like the authenticity to like people's motivation to do things. Is this real? Is this a mockery of the boxing? Right now Jake Paul's gonna get more watches than some other boxing people, just because of the name and the whole this whole style, you know. His whole style is exactly what I hate, but it's what the younger crowd and some of our fellow millennials enjoy too, because we can't sit there and say that some of these guys don't, because it's actually kind of funny at times when I look around at our generation and how many people I believe are still trying to, I mean, relevant sounds weird, but try to stay young and relevant to whatever is new, you know, and like not like they're separating themselves from the youngsters. They're still trying to
Fit in.
be fit in, you know.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way with it? Like for most of it, it's like Jesus. Like I don't recall our parents even. I mean, they'll keep up with it, right? Music and certain stuff, but they were still kind of like, we do,
Yeah, I would say there's always going to be a few. I remember, working in restaurants and, some of the older cats try to, come in with like a sweatband and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this guy's trying to,
Yeah,
wear the brands. But I mean, it was cool. I get it, and some people kind of try to stay in trend. I'm with you though. I'm with the thinking. I'm like, we're different from them, and I agree with you with the, trap being pop culture. I'm just trying to pinpoint, at least from my vantage point, when I thought it was strange. And it comes to mind that dude, well, like Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. That dude,
oh yeah, yeah. That's
Lil
it.
Pump.
When he was like wearing big ass weird boxing stuff, and then because it's
Mm-hmm.
like those shoes that are popular now. I'm like that's those like Lego type looking shoes or
Oh,
whatever.
the Astro
Those
boots or
red
some shit.
are they? I don't know. I don't fucking care actually.
I saw those. I was like, you can't be serious, bro.
Yeah, I mean people were serious about that. Like, and that's where we're at. Or even like for me, I look at the Yeezy slides or whatever,
Mm,
and I mean I have no desire to wear those.
mm.
Oddly enough, though, I will say I rather wear Crocs than those.
Oh, see, I like how you did that. Nah, I ain't rolling with that, but Crocs, I'm in.
Like I rather wear Crocs than those. Like honestly, it's because this is why, right? Crocs
Yeah.
is like I don't give a fuck attitude. Like okay, I'm just like it's a joke and a mockery and comfortable at the same time.
Mm?
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like they
comfortable.
start off as kind of a joke, and then it's just comfortable, and it's a sign of like, in many ways, like I don't like. I'm just saying it. In many ways, it's like a laziness to it. It's like fuck it, I don't want to put on any other shoes. I don't want to tie my shoes. I'm just gonna put on some Crocs. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
it does up it from like a traditional slide slipper, kind of thing, and then it just raises up a little bit. It's cool.
Yeah,
I dig it. I've been fucking with Crocs for a while. I switched a lot of my kitchen gear to Crocs early on, but to see it be trendy is even crazier to me because I thought it was just quirky. But I like the technology, at least the comfortability of it. It
yeah.
does. There's some strange comfort and ease to opening it, but yeah, no, that the question is though, how many Astro boots do you have though, and what color
I
do you
have
got?
zero. I have none. I refuse to buy those.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I heard the price is like over 1,000. I was like, ah,
Yeah, it's just one of these levels of. Like
I
I
don't know.
said,
What do you
it's
think that
I
shit
did.
is?
No, no. I was just gonna say, like, I feel like I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. I don't. I really don't recall our parents trying to fit in as much as our generation is right now. I look around and I see certain things. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. But yet, there's still people still trying to wear holy jeans extra tight. You know what I'm saying? And then once that's done, then they try to switch it to whatever the kids are wearing, and it's
It
just
looks
like
crazy.
I get that fashion changes, but sometimes it's okay to have I guess different fashion for different ages. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is? You know what we need? We need our own Ed Hardy. That's what we need. Like
No, I
us
wouldn't wear.
generation.
It's funny because like even saying that though, like I'll be like, if I see someone rock from a FUBU shirt that's in his 50s or whatever, I'm like, nah, man, like you don't have to wear that anymore, Unc. You know what I'm saying? And a D band headband. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah, the D band. Yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, I mean, but that's
not.
kind of you gotta like, but he's from it. I'm like, so there's some validity there. I'll give it to him if it's in relevance. As long as it's in your era when you're wearing it when it's subculture, I give it a
You know
pass.
what?
If it's subculture,
No, I
you're wearing it and you wear it in your 50s, cool.
you know what? I love you, man. I love that you're open to stuff. But there's a part of me where I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, there's got to be a hard no on some of this shit. Fuck being
Uh
open minded to this shit. Fuck
You know
this
what it
dumb.
is? It's because you're a Taurus, bro. That's why. It's your sun sign, bro.
Yeah.
Taurus are the masters of looking great. That's your guys' shit, and you guys have great taste. And I think when we talk about fashion here and the minimal ways that we do it, and trust me,
Mm-hmm.
folks, I don't know shit about fashion. It's just this is just shit we notice in pop culture. But yeah, that's your Taurus stuff right there, bro. You always look swagged out, and you got nice swag, and it's a adult swag, but it's not old person swag. It's like new old person swag.
Yeah, yeah, it's like fashionable old person, but not too trendy, you
You're
know.
remixing. You're
Like,
remixing the way adults used to look. You know, like the classic black tee, the classic
yeah.
slacks, the classic white shoe. Now it's just kind of flipped. You know, you still got a nice collection. You still got to be, in your bag with the shoes. I get it. I got a couple heat and I got some heat in my closet. You know, I always got to keep a
Mm-hmm.
little bit in the back. I got a couple things, but you're on the next level because you got the new duffels. You know what I'm saying? You got the new Duffy. You got you got some of the
Yeah.
weekender bags. I'm like, hold on now. See, then you take it up a lot. Then you bring out the suits. So I mean, you know, shouts out to
Which we
your
still got to,
Korean son.
which we got to set up a day to go out to eat, which I'll be done in a couple of weeks, for a short period of time. So we got to set up a day where we dress up and go get something to eat because I owe you
Hey,
for your
hey,
birthday.
for sure.
Um,
Appreciate it.
but
Appreciate it,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, no, it's funny because when you're talking about fashion, I remember when we were in junior high, right? And someone came up to me was saying that I was up for running for one of the best dressed, and I was like, "Fuck you guys!" 'Cause I thought they were fucking with me. I was like, "Fuck you guys, man!" They knew they were fucking with me. I
Oh
wanted to say it
man.
was our boy Junior, and someone else was like, "Yeah."
And that's what we just
They're
used to
like,
roll to school, like just with warm up
"I
gear.
was like, I'm like, I am not best dressed, man. I don't even know if I really, I don't have woo wear. I don't have none of that.
Nah, your
No
favorite
Tommy,
piece, my favorite piece of yours in middle school was that fucking Michigan zip up or half zip.
bruh.
That white one,
Yes,
I was like, that shit is hard. I was like, man, you don't even like Michigan, bro. I was like, this one,
I
I
did
know,
like
but I
Michigan
mean,
because of
you
you.
had that shit.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck, that shit's
yeah.
fire, bro. I was like, damn, that's hella hard.
I was rocking Michigan because I was like Fab Five was rock. Like you're the one I put me on. I was like, yo, and I didn't even know their whole that sign like that. But
Man. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Five times, yeah.
yeah, five
Hey,
times. Pimpled face Jalen Rose.
yeah, man, that shit's crazy. That's just wild, bro, to see that. See, and that's subculture. That's what I'm talking about. See, because we lived it. It's almost like you get a pass. But when you're wearing stuff out of your generation, that's when it's
Mm-hmm.
wonky. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, but that's me being judgy. But I get it though, because some of those clothes do look cool. I just don't want to spoil it for them. I don't want to be that guy like, oh man, that motherfucker got him. I ain't never wearing that shit. It's like, oh, boo. Because I used to think
Yeah,
that too. If I had a pair of shoes and you saw a 45-year-old rocking them, like I'm like, oh man, yeah,
yeah.
this is dead.
Toss
This
them
is
right. That's
dead.
right.
This is dead. Straight back to Foot Locker. Straight back to champs.
Right. Like make sure let me clean the bottles. Make sure like I can return them.
And I think there's a level of
But
that happening, right? People trying to find rare shit. I think that's always the thing. And I don't know why that's a thing in fashion, but it's always, I'm trying to buy this shit, so you ain't up on this shit. I was like, damn, what is that about? Shouts out to Kanye West for that line. That's a fucking
yeah,
great
I mean
line.
it was a very true statement and kind of crazy because like that's part of the reason why I hate the shoe game right now. Where it's just like, don't get me wrong, was I that way? Sure, and now I want to get these shoes and they're so hard to get, and now it's like you got bots and people getting bots just to sell them, resell them, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and it's like fuck, man, yeah, I guess more power that you're making money, but fuck you at the same time because it's like you're taking away from people who want them, or hopefully want them because I mean, if you want them, you're gonna get them, but I don't prescribe to buying secondhand for me. Like I see it, I'm like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just
It
not.
does. Yeah.
That's not me.
It does
I
take
don't
the
feel like the
luster
need.
out of the chase. You know what I'm saying? It was cool when you could just there's a certain number of pairs humans buy them, and that's that. And
Yeah,
then you
you
source
like
new
the
shit.
you waiting in line and getting them and putting in the work to get them, or you early learning the workaround. Because like before, I used to pre-order on eBay before it became known. I used to be like, oh, okay,
Dang.
like I forgot where I got the information, but they're like, yeah, we'll let you pre-order,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Dang.
was like, okay, and that's how I had got the Space Gray 11s for my brother, which
Woo.
I got
Flames.
again, for him for Christmas, so like a year or two ago. And
Flames.
it's kind of funny because I haven't won on sneakers in a while. And I won for those. I was like, oh,
Damn. Hey,
um,
that's how it goes, man.
mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Those
Those
are
shoes got
just
staying power like a motherfucker. Those shoes, I almost feel like I got to get a pair back. I sold all mine off. I was like, yeah. I think
nah,
I
that's
only
a
had
good
the
thing.
11s and 12s. I was like, I need to get a pair just because, oh, I miss those shoes. But yeah, no, I feel you on that. Old people wearing, young people shit. But I think this is what a midlife crisis is, right? Isn't this the age that is technically a midlife crisis? Haven't we talked about this before?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I mean, if yeah, about right, because it's like if we're averaging 77 years old, we're past our midlife right now, or we're going into that, right? We're going on to the other end of the journey, um, or it's the downcline or decline, and so it is a crisis where you start to buy things you want. At the same time, you have the for most they have the money to buy the things they want, you
Is
know.
that how it works? Is that how I remember it? Because it is one of those things. The visual in my mind is a dude that's older that has a Corvette and
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and smoking a cigar with some shades on. That to me
Mm-hmm.
is a midlife crisis, or a guy that is driving a Harley. Those are the two images in my mind that constitute a midlife crisis.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wonder what it'd be now
Mm.
for our generation. Maybe it's spending a bunch of money on shoes or whatever, or getting a Tesla or whatever. I don't know, but
That's,
a Tesla, like, hey, how you
I was
doing? I
like, who
got a
do I
Model
know that
X,
did that? I was like, oh shit.
Model X. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Um, yeah. I think I don't know if it's that per se or you buy what you want at this age where people are like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get what I want. Because you've worked
Yeah.
hard for what you got to, where you're like, I don't care. All right, let me go ahead and buy these nice, expensive pans that I could have just got non-stick, but no, I wanted to have the made in stainless steel
That
ones.
is true. Maybe the percent, maybe you're right. Maybe the way that it was sold to us was negative, but now that we're kind of in the midst of it, it is that. It is the I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I do. And that's why your
Mm.
decisions would be looked at weird, is because it's almost not the norm. But by that point, it's like, I don't know what the norm is anyways. So I'm just gonna
Well,
do what I do. And then I think that comes around that midlife crisis age. And I think they were just maybe trying to give it a negative,
yeah, well,
narrative.
yeah, and usually, what do they refer the midlife crisis for? It was men, not women. It was men, right? Like it
True.
was men, like you said, men put it on the thing, and men going out there and doing stuff, right? And a lot of it, right, is I believe now that I'm getting older, I think what it is too is that for most people who live by the quote unquote book, right? Meaning like, hey, I got the nice job, I did the things that I'm supposed to do, right? It's the part when they get to the midlife where they look back and like, fuck it, I've been doing, at least for me, I'll say it, like, fuck it, I've been doing what everybody else wanted me to do and been doing the right thing or whatever. Now I'm just gonna fucking do what I want to do. Because by doing what everybody else wanted you to do, even though you've had parts of it, like, okay, I'll how can I say it? Like, you did what is the right thing, but you still make the choices to do it to a certain extent, right? Like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do these things, I'll agree upon that, and now you get to the point where you may do well financially, you got your things in a row, and you're like, okay, now it's time for me to fucking do what I want because I've been doing the things I had to do. Let me just say the right things, the things you had to do. Let's put it that way,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a difference.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what I'm
funny
saying?
you
Like,
say
think,
that.
because I don't want to say the right thing because it's the things you had to do to get to where you
Had to
want
do
to
to
be,
get there. See,
right?
I agree. I agree. It's so funny you say that. I was studying. I've been reading about astrology, and as you're saying that,
Yeah.
that's I don't know if that's a characteristic of all people born under the sign of Taurus, but that the way how you explained it was just so very specific. It like it's verbatim on what I read about how Taurus's approach building, you know, your your success and
Hmm.
steps to it, and how you're like, yo, it's methodical. You just, you do it and you acquire that you do the shit. I was like, man, it's methodical, and it's with
Hmm.
thought, and it's with intention, and it's staying the course. You know how it's just how you describe it. I was like, not saying it's all astrology, but damn, that is a good way
Hmm.
of putting it. But it's an honorable way to look at it. If we had to tell ourselves, our early selves, you're like, yo, stay the course, work hard, save. You could get to this spot faster, in
Hmm.
hindsight, but life is life. You got us here. But yeah, that is the path, and that is the true nature. It's almost trying to reverse everything that was told to us and like rework that shit in our brains. Because there's got to be a lot of us right now floating in deep space of nothingness, especially the last couple years. I mean, I was rethinking in my mind like how the shutdown just really like put a halt to like life, right? And then there's a big lull of confusion. And then how the fuck did people come out of that? I myself included, but I was doing all types of, I'm living a whole different life at this point. But for other people, I can
Yeah,
only imagine. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people change. I mean, if you when you think about it in major parts of our lives, now granted, this our lives are also intertwined with other generations. When we look at it, like when we were getting out of high school, or not high school, when we are getting, oh no, okay, actually, we're getting out of high school. 9/11 hit. Okay, major thing going down. World War's picking back up. We haven't had to deal with the war since 10 years prior to that, or 9 years prior to that, right?
Mm.
Where we're like, okay, and we're younger, and that war, once we looked it up, lasted a short time. That 9/11 war on terrorism lasted, I think you just said like
So last week,
almost 10 years. Yeah, like just ended last week or some stuff. It was long, come along, right? But that was in our that was in our lifetime, right? Now, by the time we're going to college, we're about to, for the most part, if we stay the track, we'll be getting done with college around like 2005, 2006, right? About to start a career. Economic downturn
oh yeah, yep.
shuts shit down. But that at the same time, we're getting out of high school because everybody's talking about inflation now with houses. It was almost the same then. Houses were going. I mean, I don't know if they're as high now, but they were going out. They're ridiculous with those inflatable loans.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? With the giving everybody a pass
houses for
on
free.
a credit. Yeah, you're like, hey, I work at McDonald's. I get 750 an hour. You can apply for a home loan.
Oh, for
Don't
sure,
worry about it.
500K easily, right there, just on your
Yeah, here
words,
you
no problem.
go. Here you go. On your words. Yeah, yeah. There you go. And houses were going up hella fast, but hella expensive. Interest rates were high still. So it's like when we look at least to me, when I assess a majority of our adulthood, it's been riddled with things that have shut us down and rethink the way we've done things.
Mm.
You know, I mean, after 9/11, you look at how we even fly still to this day. And when I'm watching Seinfeld, and I forgot you can almost go straight up to the terminal when you're picking up a guest. But hey, I'm here to pick you up. Hey, let's
Oh
go back.
yeah, that's when you greet them, like you see them out of
Mm-hmm.
the thing, like hey, and now it's like
Yeah,
I don't see them for like 45 minutes.
yeah. Nah, motherfucker. Nope.
But see
We
how
after
that's just
the
all of a sudden just part of everyday life. Like
yeah.
there's a point when people didn't even know that was a thing.
I mean, we're taking off. I mean, not on the floor, but now we're taking off our shoes to make sure there's nothing in the shoes.
No shoe
Whatever,
bombs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no shoe bombs.
No
No,
shoe
no,
bomb,
no
bomb dust on
toothpaste.
your
No,
fingers.
yeah, no toothpaste bombs.
Cocaine's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, right? But
Yeah, you could pass that through. Hey, what is that? Water? Get that shit. I
uh,
don't know what's in there. I don't
yeah,
know
I
what
don't
that
know
is.
what's it. Yeah, no, what? Oh, that
Barbecue
the sticky
sauce?
icky.
No,
Yeah,
no,
nah,
I don't know what this is.
nah.
Even though it says it on there, I can't.
Yeah, no.
Not
Apple
sure.
cider vinegar.
Yeah.
Nope,
Nope.
no, no,
Nope. See, and
no.
that's the more if that's been the practice since then, in your mind, it almost like I don't know what's in it. Oh, what the fuck? How did you just not know what's in a bottle of water? Like that's how it just makes us stupid after so many years. You're just like, I question my reality. And even more so in the more recent, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
noted right before you said 9/11, Y2K.
Y2K. I mean, right before, yeah, that was supposed to be the end of whatever. That was supposed
The
to
end of the
be
world.
in the world because the computers didn't know how to properly calculate 2000 because they didn't code it properly accordingly, and people were afraid that like nuclear codes weren't going to go on or go off because the timing and whatever. And I just remember, 1999 going to 2000, staying home, dude. Now he said, I remember staying home for
I'm pretty sure I
years,
stayed home.
thinking that like,
It
huh,
was over.
like thinking like like it was over, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought that too.
Like, yeah. I was like, all right, well, we just stay home and stay safe. Like if like it mattered if I was at somebody's house if all the nuclear bombs went out, like we're gonna die no matter what. But let me
But
just stay home.
there
But
is, yeah, yeah.
so
You know what? That's like the first time like they um flinched at us. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? That was the first time they did one of these like motherfucker. Oh, they're like,
yeah.
oh, we got ya. And
Let's see
then
how
now they
much
just do it.
they're
Yeah.
let's see how much they're really gullible about,
Yeah. They got us shook, dude. Because then we don't know what we're thinking, right? Because everybody,
Mm,
like, not everybody. That's what I think now. It's like when that Y2K shit happened, I guarantee you it was only people that were hip to the internet. And at that point, it might have been 20 to 30% of people. And only our generation might have been scared. You get what I'm saying? Because we were like,
yeah.
well, life without Lycos and InfoSeek, no way.
Yeah. Jeeves, is it really gonna end? And yeah, Jeeves is like, make sure you kiss your loved ones tonight.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
Jeeves.
But then
You know the
after that, though, I would say shortly, I would assume Yahoo and then Google eventually were just the only ones left.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Yahoo, yeah, Alta Vista for a short time, right?
See, when was the .com bubble?
Man, they said it was in 2000, 2001, but I was like, that was a weird time because I don't remember. I was investing. We were in high school, so we didn't pay
Yeah.
attention to stock,
Yeah, we
We didn't pay
wasn't in
attention to
anything.
outside. Yeah, I just paid attention to the Sega Dreamcast. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Some shoes coming out, the steroid crisis in baseball, Barry Bonds breaking
Yeah, breaking the record.
records, you know, Shaq and Kobe,
Sure, yeah.
you know,
They had us going. They had us in a daze. They had us going because they had sports was on fire at that time.
dude. Yeah, it was,
Sports
man.
was on fire. And then that
Then
was the
you
end of
because you
PlayStation.
still
Yeah, too.
you
Like
still you
PlayStation
still
2. Yeah.
yeah, you still had Randy Moss catching bombs with I
Mm-hmm.
want to say
Oh,
not
Dante
Donovan with
Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper. Yeah,
Ooh, flames, bro. Flame. Yeah, man. Come on. And that was from going from the we were going into next gen in terms
yeah,
of gaming. That's why the Dreamcast was such a interesting, like, just bloop. Like, hey, was this supposed to
Dreamcast.
be here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dreamcast was a short lived, amazing system,
yeah, yeah.
an
No, I think it just
amazing
it's so
system.
strange how it just existed for that small. But like you said, on other pods, it thwarted the, Xbox, kind of exoskeleton idea. But at that time though, that was so forward thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like in
Mm-hmm.
comparison to what everybody was playing, especially that fucking NBA 2K shit. I mean, look at it still
Yeah,
stands today.
dude, it started with them. Then, so like the thing is that, like I said it before in Dreamcast, the four players started with the 64, and then actually the Dreamcast was a built on the 64, but with some additional stuff, right? Because the 64 had the four players and it had the analog controller, and then you could put the memory card into the back of the
The
yeah, in the
cartridge,
back
yeah.
of the
Oh, the
cartridge,
console, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then you can do oh yeah, because that's right, the memory card. I don't think the memory card was in there. It was either on the game or one of the two. But then you had the Rumble card, Rumble
Mm-hmm.
feature. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did have the memory card, but then you had the Rumble pack, which
Mm-hmm.
was
Rumble pack.
like the first, right? But then the Dreamcast put the another CE base, but then you had like Windows base on it because that's why I said it's on. You had Windows CE on there. You had the four players, had the memory card inside, but also in the memory card, you can take out the memory card and then play little Tamagotchi type games on
Mm-hmm.
it because you had that for a while.
Yep.
So it had like an interactive thing on there. Then you can actually, it was the first one to have a network connected to it. You can play online. But
That
it
was
was
Sega,
it
right?
wasn't
Sega was that Sega
Sega
Dreamcast?
started the Dreamcast started with the online, there was a network adapter in the back that you can play online. You can either play dial up or you could play Ethernet, but dial up was so bad, but you can do it. So it was one of the first ones to start doing that.
Crazy. Sega, did Sega come out with another console after that? No.
No, it died after that, and then they went to turn into a developer. And you had
See,
like,
oh shit. Like it's almost like did the developer was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just let this go. Like let's just put this out. They probably weren't even supposed to. And then they
well,
let it
well,
out and was like, fuck it. Let it be.
in many ways, right? Like yeah, in many ways, there's companies that will do their hardware and software. Like Apple will do their hardware. They'll make it work with their hardware, but then what they're really selling is their software and their easy use. So their hardware, the prices are overpriced because not only are they making their own chips, but they're also making their own software integrated into that. So in theory, it should run a lot smoother,
Yeah.
a lot less hiccups than someone building their own PCs or whatever. So they're not only just giving you the product, but the price that's incorporated is Apple ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that. While in many cases, though, you make majority of your money off of software, right? And so if you were to be a developer and you can give it to everyone, right? If you're a really big developer like Windows was, right? When you really think about Windows, they don't have anything other than Xbox right now, Microsoft. They really didn't have anything that was hardware before that time. It was all software. And then when I got into programming, I started to think, oh, wait a minute. When you initiate the time of making these ones and zeros, and when you make the program, after that initial cost of doing that, it's all money being made because it's replicating ones and zeros. It's just taking a copy of it and replicating it, right? It's like almost selling air.
Ooh, what are you, the
You know what I'm
architect?
saying? You know what I'm saying? Think about it, because once you make it once, it's replicated. Well, part of that was I was looking into when I was looking at doing music, and I started to music and programming made me think like, oh, it's like you're selling air. So when I started to see producers I like that started to make their own sample libraries, right? And then I just bought a sample library today to sample, and I was looking at it, right? And you can buy 12 tracks that are 10 or 12 tracks that are about a minute and a half, 2 minutes long that someone will full on make and produce, right? And then they'll sell it to you that you can sample it, and then if it goes on to album, then you can split the royalties or whatever, right? But now think about this for a minute, right? They charged you $30 for the sample library so you can clear, and they get 50% of the royalties. If they made a whole album, the album would cost you $10. Think about that for a minute. If they made an album, put it out there, they would make $10 for that, or they'll charge $10 to $12 an album, digital album. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They just sold you 9 tracks that are shorter than most albums for $30. Now, what they also do is they say, hey, yeah, we'll let you sample it. So now you got 100 people. They bought your product for $30, right? Now you got $3,000. Out of those 100 people, maybe 5 made a hot beat and it gets out there, and say it gets on a nice track. Now you get 50% of that royalty of one of those people.
Ooh.
It's like increasing your numbers of opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, you're charging more than an album.
Mm-hmm.
They're charging more than if I had a whole album of Rihanna. Now, granted, their name is as big as them because they're like, okay, or not. Their name is not as known. They're known to the producers, which is fine. You just sell to your market, you know? It's kind of a like a kind of a crazy dope thing, right? It was like, okay, now when they make the sample, the initial time that was spent to make it will be the cost. Everything else is just money on top of it because it's just replicating every time you sell it. So you can make that one sample library, right? I can make this one sample library 6 years ago, and I put it out there. The first 2 years, I made 100, had 100, 200 people who bought it, right? And then all of a sudden, my name 6 years later had gotten bigger, and people know about my sample libraries. Some people will go back to that original sample and buy it because they're now fans, right? And then, but if you have made
Crazy.
other sample libraries and you have fans that are purchasing, it's just it's a smart ass business that I'm just like, oh, and you are technically, in theory, making more on that one single purchase than someone would purchase a whole album.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Strange. It is strange that the way
it's
that the
smart, but
understanding of music is slowly changing. I think, at
mm-hmm.
least to the common person. You're in the music world. You are a musician, so it's a little different. But the way I perceive it, because I'm not, and what I understand at baseline, I'm like, there's definitely more moving parts, and you realize producers and people behind the act or behind the performer are
Mm-hmm.
way more, they're molded for longevity, like what you were
Mm-hmm.
breaking down. Like I'm like, that makes sense. And I'm like, it's air, it's frequency, whatever it is that music brings,
Yeah.
there's a high value to it. And I think you just validated that in the way that you explain, that side of the business, because we treat it as nonchalant, but you can make the argument music's everywhere, naturally or made by humans.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds are sounds, you know what I'm saying? And it is expensive because I think it holds a high, very high value. I think how people perceive it, even higher than that, of value to us in our daily lives. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it's treated with such a interest in, like, just a fascination. On all levels, all ways, like why do people go into music and for what reasons, and how we, like for instance, Taylor Swift was at the most recent Kansas City game, and it's
Yeah.
just that's crazy. And Taylor Swift is a music artist, and Travis Kelsey, the guy who is she went there to go see, um, I feel he's a known guy, but really he's not compared to her. So you're like, see, so musicians really are this,
No,
at
but
least the stars that we know of. But I see that as every musician. You know what I'm saying?
well, she is huge, so not to take away from her, right? But in many cases, there's athletes that make more than rappers,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I
right?
mean, there's more athletes
She's
making
the
money. Yeah,
making more money, right,
yeah.
than our artists, right? She's a different echelon of it. At the same time, I'm going to speak upon that because I wanted to say Travis Kelsey parlayed being a Swiftie fan to being able to possibly fuck her. He's probably fucking because I've seen Taylor Swift statements and stories of people saying she dates everyone. She's in a relationship every other week with someone new. And if you're in a relationship, that is the legal term to say I'm fucking.
That is true.
You know,
Legal is
without
supposed to have a
without
legal
without
term.
the legal term to say I'm fucking,
Oh,
and
fucking.
you can't slut shame me because we're in a relationship.
Oh man.
I'm not calling her that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'm
of
just saying
course.
like,
It's cool. She's a
like
freak. It's all good. I mean, shit. If you can't say that
I
today,
mean,
that's crazy.
but what happens, right, is like, oh, you're in a relationship, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's
It's only
only
when you're not.
bad
Yeah,
not in a relationship and you're giving away the product for free.
that's true. You got to charge
You
at
know,
least
but
OnlyFans.
let's
Subscribe
just
now.
say let's just be real. Travis Kelsey knows what he's doing. He even changed his look. Now he got a mustache.
Oh yeah.
Like my dude, he was B Rad with the fade.
I think that this is a collaboration amongst two entities of business, and it's a great one. I mean, the last power couple coming out of
He
the NFL
parlayed it,
was
man.
Brady
He
and
parlayed it.
Giselle. How the fuck did Tom Brady get
Yeah.
with Brazilian Victoria's Secret model? And and then you got
Hey,
Tony Romo, Jessica Simpson. They're not big like that, but this is the NFL at its one of its most money making, most profitable business times of its entire existence. And it just happens so that the biggest pop star just is now entrenched since week one, and she's probably going to be at every single game going forward.
yeah. And now like I said, more honestly, I think Travis Kelsey was the architect to that. He parlayed this opportunity of being an athlete to possibly bang one of the biggest stars of all time. Because for the most part, she was not. I'm not saying she was or wasn't, but what Travis Kelsey's swag was getting off of wasn't the type of girls or guys that she was going for the most part. beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree,
Oh,
but I
but
still
one
mean,
common
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
one common thing, he was white. You know what I'm
Got to keep the, it's too dramatic if you go
saying?
black first. But see, here's my
No, no,
thing.
no. Swift. If she did that, that'd be like the biggest.
At
That was almost as big as what was it when Seal
that
was
point, yeah, it would
Heidi
be like
Klum or
it's a
something like that.
oh with Seal.
Was when Seal was dating Heidi Klum?
Nah, that don't count. We was like, oh, Seal, burn victim, bro. Something,
Yeah, he was like
something going on.
"Kiss from a rose on the grave," and I can't think of any other song other than
I
that.
was like, there's no way that dude sings that. That fool is a
Yeah,
homeless
the
dude.
moment I get at you, the things that feel, yeah, man. I actually get goosebumps. So I still remember that time and frame. It was like
Uh,
94, 95. We're getting out of junior or elementary school, man. You know,
that was Michael Keaton Batman, right? Or no, was that Val Kilmer? Val
I
Kilmer.
want to say it was Val Kilmer. Yeah,
Oh man,
that
Val
wasn't Michael
Kilmer
Keaton.
Batman.
Yeah,
Right after, yeah, nice, yeah. Kiss from a rose. Yeah, I thought that
yeah.
motherfucker was homeless. If Taylor Swift did that, I'd be like, and now equality is here, folks. No need
Let's
to.
see.
All black people could rest now. That would
Yep,
have
it was
done more
Val
for
Kilmer,
equality.
my dude. Val
Val
Kilmer. I
Kilmer, my
remember.
dude.
Yeah, bro.
Shouts out Blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out Blockbuster.
Bro, I remember because at that time I wanted to say that I wanted to say either it was that one or the god awful what can't I think of his name right now, George Clooney, but I want to say that was during the time that I want to say McDonald's was giving out those cups, those Batman cups, those glass Batman cups.
Was it the Clooney years?
No, it was, I think it was the Val Kilmer years where it had the Batman cups.
You talking about the frosted ones?
Yeah, the Batman. Yeah,
Oh, those are fire, bro. Yes, I agree. That was the best. McDonald's at that time was, yeah, doing dope ass cross promotion with movies. Yeah, because those frosted clubs, I used to have them. There was one
yeah,
with the
yeah.
there was one, the handles were like coins. I think it was Two Faces one. I was like, oh, this is so dope. Yeah, Batman was a
Let me see.
phenomenon for sure.
Which one was it
Shouts
for?
out Val Kilmer.
McDonald's Batman. Batman for I guess it was Batman Forever.
Yeah, that's
Was it
the
Batman
Val.
Forever?
That's Val Kilmer, right?
Was that one? Was
No,
that Val Kilmer?
or was that Keaton's last one?
No, no, no. Yeah, it was Val Kilmer because Batman and Robin was, I believe, the George Clooney Batman.
Yes, the woke Batman. No, just kidding. I didn't even watch that series, but anyways.
Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
Yeesh. Yeah, see, so Taylor Swift. There you go. Pop stars. It must have been thing. My thing is this. I would hold reservation because maybe this is Taylor Swift's new album in the works right
Mm.
now. Because that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Is Taylor Swift the new Kim Kardashian?
Mm. Almost. I think almost. She's like, I wouldn't say she's
She's close to a
Kim
billionaire.
Kardashian, but like more like the new Beyonce. And this is
Mm,
why, right?
mm, 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 mm.
Beyonce fans are ridiculous fans, right?
Good point.
They
Okay.
they're ridiculous. They follow whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing that I know that Beyonce has over Taylor Swift is that Beyonce had more gay fans, and those gay men fans love the shit out of Beyonce. I haven't really heard a lot of gay men be like, "Oh, Taylor Swift," but Taylor Swift definitely got the fucking like white girl on lock. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's
Swifty
majority of the
fans.
country right there, man. She
Yeah.
got
So
hella
and
fans.
yeah, and that's in that. Yo, you get that, you're good. You're rich.
Well, she got the
You know what I'm
youth
saying?
too. She got the teens. She got
Yeah. You got the
younger
team.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe okay, maybe she's a superhero then. Maybe she's the
I mean, she beat out Beyonce for best album, so she is a superhero.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, she's yeah, I want to know how this plays out. Will Travis Kelsey be the next title of her album? And she will shit on dudes through her this, and she'll continue to make great
Because that's what she
records
does in
off
all.
this.
That's not what she does in all her albums, right?
Well, so
That's what she
far,
does.
that is
That,
the
that,
case.
that is her. That is literally her. And what's the one with the raspy voice that breaks up with 7 different dudes? Um.
Avril Lavigne,
Uh. Close enough.
Britney
What you call his
Spears.
cousin? No one. No. What you call his cousin wrote for a while.
Oh,
Um.
Billie Eilish. No,
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. There you go.
Oh, Billie Eilish. That's another cold piece of work that cracks me up, right? Talking about don't body shame and being all positive,
Oh,
and then
geez.
shits
And then
on
she
men.
rolls
Just
out
like,
with
oh,
that.
come on now.
Yeah. Then she rolls
And
out
then,
with
then
that
shits on
wild
men.
ass body. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, first of all, that did make me sweat a little bit. I was like, what in the
Craziest
world?
conspiracy theory I heard, but one of maybe the possibly stupidest. You know the rapper Lil Zane? You remember him?
No.
He was from
I
our
gotta look them
era.
up.
It was one of those like one album things.
Oh yes, yes. Now I see. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This fucking conspiracy was Billie Eilish is Lil Zane. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Fuck is that? Who the fuck is?
I chuckled. That's the one that, remember when you used to go to the grocery store and next to the candy there'd be the
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's the one.
UFO.
I was
The
like,
UFO married Michael Jackson
I need to
and
buy this
killed.
one. This one I want to
And
read.
yeah, yeah, and killed the king. Elvis,
Oh
right?
man. Ariana Grande to me is Mariah Carey for sure. That is Mariah Carey incarnate. Like that is the idea.
Mm,
If we had to play this as, how we always play Puppet Master, I am Master of the Universe. All
mm-hmm.
right, let's just replicate what we already done. Okay, we need a Mariah Carey. This is perfect. She sings high pitch and she'll be this very innocent woman. But we already know the trajectory. She's gonna somehow come out with a Christmas hit, and then she'll be a diva. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Sorry,
inevitable.
I feel laughing because I had to Google Lil Zane and I forgot he was on that 112 song.
Oh
And I'm like,
yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
was like, what is it? Because I'm thinking, like, did he do right there? No, that was Chingy. That
No,
was
no, no, no.
Chingy. That was
That was a
Lil
hazy
Zane.
time for music, bro.
Yeah, no, straight up. I always say this. Like, even this is how fucked up our generation was. We literally grew up on a short time where it was our adult life where we had the worst rap era.
Oh,
The
dude,
Nelly
I
rap
take blame for that all
era
day.
is
We
the
might have
worst.
killed hip hop. Keep it real. We might have
We
actually killed
had
it.
the worst rap era, and it, like
Yeah.
even though it started off kind of good, you had Eminem coming in, but then when Eminem started to like get really high and did like that the whatever that Hillary Duff isn't quite old enough, but I've never seen an ass like that, and he was like, but don't like yo, I was like yo,
Yeah,
he lost it.
he
I don't
did.
know if it was curtain call or whatever. I was like yo, Eminem lost it. The
Mhm.
saving grace was 50 Cent for a short period of time,
But
but
the
then
50
Nelly
Cent
was
thing's
rolling.
fucked up because that was a diss to like New York. You know what I'm saying? That was
What
almost
do you mean?
like
What do you
no
mean?
one even remembers. I mean, people know he's from New York, but he ain't heralded like that. That's my argument against not my argument, but that is what I think about Jay Z. It's like Jay Z was just, he filled the void because that's
Oh
50
yeah,
Cent.
yeah.
But then Jay Z was like, he just got literally like Kanye and Pharrell to me saved that motherfucker straight up.
Say 50?
No, saved
50?
Jay Z. 50 was
Oh,
killing
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
looked
yeah.
at 50 like a West Coast artist just because he was signed to
Well, I
Dre.
want to throw in Just Blaze. I want to throw in Just Blaze too. People
Hey, just
don't,
Blaze too. Just Blaze. Shouts out.
but
For real,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
flames. But I
Most
mean,
people,
without
yeah.
them, that's what to me is what changed the dynamic of how at least the early seeds of seeing music more than just the artist.
It's funny you say it because I was literally going back on some Jay Z albums. There was that one short one in between. Once again, it was like our junior to senior year where he dropped the I don't know if it's a Rock La Familia. Now he has this one song on there called One Night Under Hustler, which is
Mhm.
a dope ass track, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he also had to change the game with like we suppose. You had that album, and that's usually like looked over.
Mhm.
We will remember the one with Big Pimpin'. The one that changed the game was a short-lived one that were like whatever. And then this is when he did this is when Jay-Z, because I know we talked about Jay-Z and all that stuff, but when you really look at the discography of his stuff, you're like, you go back and there was a lot of like, letdowns. Because he also had the one with him and R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, best of both worlds.
And then the one that I remember was like, okay, Blueprint came out and that shut things down for a while because that was on 9/11. It dropped on 9/11.
Yeah, but what number was that? Like number seven? How many albums
So it's like
already?
five or six because you started off with what's the first one? Unreasonable Doubt.
I mean, he might have had an album before that, but Reasonable Doubt is claimed
Yeah,
as his
Reasonable
first one, I
Doubt
think.
was
Yeah.
it was the first one, and I think you had In My Lifetime, and all the ones were In My Lifetime, volume 1, 2, and 3. But it was like In My Lifetime, something Brown. Then you had the one where it was It's a Hard Knock Life. Then you had the one where it was Jigga, what's my motherfucking name? Nigga, and who I roll with,
Yeah.
which is all Swiss beat stuff.
Yep.
right?
Shouts out Swiss Beats too. Yep. Swiss
Yeah.
Beats. Yep.
Because
Legendary.
he also did the Rough Rider stuff, right?
Yep.
Um, and but when you look at that, you're like, okay, cool, cool, and then kind of like a short drop. You had the blueprint, then you forget about the blueprint volume 1 or volume 2, which is usually looked over, even though there was one track on there I forgot because he redid the Watcher on
Ah.
that,
Mm, mm,
which was
mm.
pretty dope because it had Rakim on there,
Mm-hmm.
and after that I don't remember the rest of the track. And then you had Black Album, right? And that was supposed to be his last album. And he's like, I'm not done yet. I came back. Kingdom Come. Then he did like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not done yet. I came and did what's the one for the movie that came out that was supposed to be it was based off the movie because he watched it. He was inspired off of the drug
American
movie
Gangster.
American Gangster, right?
Yep. Hard ass one too.
Right,
Yeah.
and then
Fuck it.
and
Yeah.
then that comes out, and then you're just like, oh, Blueprint Volume 3 with from New York. Now I didn't like that one because that was like me getting out the Navy, and I was bumping that like a
A
lot.
Keys was the fire right then at that point. A Keys was like top
Yeah,
top. I loved A
right.
Keys. Shouts out to Kanye West on
Um,
A Keys. Fuck man, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
you don't know my name, right?
On and round we go. We
Will
have
you have
enough.
enough?
Oh,
Yeah, baby, baby, baby. Oh,
the day I
and then then
saw
then
you.
then what did someone say? Like I don't know if it was you or someone called it out, but it was like it was talking about most deaf, and then Alicia Keys calling saying having milk with something that doesn't need milk. It was like a like the whole breakdown she was calling was like, yeah, you're the one, that wants extra
Oh
milk,
yeah.
whatever. It was like with something that doesn't really go with it, like what is it? That sounds
I always
disgusting.
give you milk with your
Yeah, I
coffee.
gave you extra milk because
I was like,
you
why you giving water,
special.
man? What the fuck? Why you see
Yeah,
it on the menu? Was
water,
I
but
asked for water?
it,
Like you can't
it
pass
was
water off for milk. What's wrong with
it
you?
was like milk. It was like milk with like pizza or something like that would not sound good together.
You know what happened after that? I
It was
guarantee
like
you,
fried chicken and milk or something like that.
someone spotted that and they're like, "Hey, man, we need to have a chef on site at all times when we try to just add lyrics and spot on because we cannot do this incorrectly because someone will catch us on this shit."
Yeah, because no, because people started to do it, which sometimes I love like that movies and think because it gives us something to talk about. When you don't pay attention to details and come out and that's something funny. Because there was another one that someone was talking about. Kelly Rowland was literally texting on a 2-way, but it was really she was using Excel on it. She wasn't texting; she was using like Excel on the 2-way or whatever.
Well,
It was
shit,
like
she might have been
let's
one of
never
like
forget
five
that.
people in the world that had that shit.
Yeah, let's never forget that. Those are those things where it's like, yo, you gave us gems, people. These are
That's
our
true.
gems of hilarity, like because you weren't
Yeah.
paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
That's when they were still human. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, I don't know what we're looking at. Bots, clones,
Well, yeah, everything
AI.
has to be
I don't know.
perfect, right?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm watching no more. See, back then there was some you could know these were humans. Now it's like too perfect or I never seen it live or nah, that's photoshopped or that's AI or nah, that's a clone. It's man, they just
Dude,
we are the last bastion of the good shit.
we live in a yeah, like maybe
And
not
bad shit
because
though too. And bad shit. And bad shit.
everything got to be perfect now, right? Like, and that's what people
Yeah.
wanted, right? It's like, oh, you need to do this. It's like, fuck, what happened to like the the beautiful errors and mistakes? I don't know, like,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm all about fallacy, man. I'm like, yo, man, there needs to be
because
more variables, more of more. Unless, like I said, unless we are just old and the more of more and the subculture is happening with the youth, which I'm speculating. I think that's what's happening. And it's cool because I'm not even supposed to know about that world. So therefore, let them be their weird, cool shit. And for us, I think we should just continue on, searching for, whatever we're searching for.
I still have that contrarian side of me because like there's times where like in photography, right? There are these rules that people have, and I know that they've made these rules over time because of what is deemed pleasing or whatever, right? But then there's that part of me where I'm like, man, fuck this. Like, no, why don't we just create, even if it doesn't sound right? Because what happens is, how did we ever get to where we're at if no one was experimenting with different ideas? And what happens is like, oh no, you got to make it this exact way because that's the only way you make fried chicken. What if I did this? What if I let it sit and marinate over a day in whiskey? Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
You never create anything new if you're only doing what everybody else is telling you to do.
True.
You know, so it's
True.
like, how do we get creative? How do we create new things if only these are the ways you're supposed to do photography or
Mhm.
movies? You know, this is why people are having, and I love them, but this is why people are having superhero fatigue. Like that
Mhm.
blew up. Now everybody has to do a superhero thing.
Mhm.
Now the superhero thing's not good enough. You have to do like the superhero like on Amazon. Now you have to have like what is it? I was gonna say incredible, not incredible, invincible, but the other one, with something V. You know what I'm talking about. It's like over
Mhm.
the top superheroes that like killing things. Like no, now you got to do that, and just like
Mhm.
or whatever happened just to creating. And unfortunately, I get it. You can't create if you're not. It's like you can't keep creating if your product isn't good. So it's like a restaurant won't continue to be like, let me put out this garbage shit or
Mhm.
garbage food. If it's not good, then we won't be able to make anything. So sometimes you have to do certain things, but it's like fuck. I think like I feel like sorry, let me respond. Like sometimes like I get part of it, and at the same time like, but some of that hinders us from moving forward. If that makes sense at all.
It's life, man. It's always uneasy. I'm right there with you. There's the elements of like, adapt, evolve, and trailblaze and pioneer. But then how do you recognize a pioneer? And then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, there's got to be a level of, you know, normalcy, I guess, or a base. And I think there's always going to be a base, and it's almost because I'm of the thinking, I'm kind of in your mindset, like whatever creatively that people can do, because at least through what I'm studying, everybody has a creative outlet. It might not be
Mm-hmm.
typical, but there's a million ways to express yourself. We talk about fighting, we talk about music, we talk about fashion, we talk about cooking. I mean, pick your poison. There's a million things to do that you could just kind of do your own. And I think that is linked to, the idea of creativity is,
Mm-hmm.
self-expression, like your own shit, represent yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not to be, it doesn't have to be for everybody. It could be for yourself. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
where, when we look at, like social media and how we talk about it, it's like, because as of right now, there's a certain amount of people that we're realizing that are subscribed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're starting to re-jog our memory to be part of a think tank way of thinking, so it all of a sudden eats from within. Oh, it's got to be bigger, it's got to be more of this. I was like, that's kind of the effect, because it's like we're one-upping each other, or the people that are part of these worlds, and it's just more bigger, more grander, more more ridiculous, more whatever. It's like, but it's more of the same, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what, like you said, I'm all about making money, doing your thing. But at what point does it become diminished returns? The once
Yeah.
creative person just lost his way and submitted, well, I gotta do clickbait, man, I gotta do a little bit of this, I gotta move eyes to my, and rightfully so, and do your thing. It's just, there'll be those pioneers out there, and
Well,
that's always the thing, like, Joe, just do what you do, and hopefully it spurns the next, and hopefully it's coming out of place of righteousness, or from your heart, or whatever, fucking
I mean,
fucking
I probably
shit
sound
like
like
that.
a sell a couple of times to some friends where I was like, I had a friend that was an artist too, not a musical, but someone who drew, and
Mm-hmm.
that person would get upset about like people selling it out, and the person's always struggled with his art, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's that part where I even said it before. It was like sometimes you got to do what other people want you to do in order for you to do what you want to do.
There's
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
as long as you don't lose yourself in it. Like I mean, in many ways, right? Like I actually it even though I liked her more then, it's the Pink thing, right? Pink came in as you know a curated at the time looked like she was a cakey white girl that was definitely catered towards the hip hop community, right?
Oh,
Like
for
she had
sure.
the
Yeah.
short hair,
She was the
had
Janet
the
Jackson replacement.
song. Yeah, you're like, what is going on with the cakes? I mean, I used to love the
She was
hell out of her,
thick. She was beautiful. Still is. But I
man.
mean, when
No,
she
yeah,
first came
yeah.
out, it's like, is this like a
So what
light
she is
skinned black
now,
chick? Like, I
so what
didn't
she is
know.
now was like, and to come to find out, she was like, I never really wanted to do that. I was more of a rock chick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that was curated at the time, and she did it in order to get in, and so it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a
And then
pathway for yeah.
and then like a lot of times there's like a pathway. Like they used to say, like when you look at Eminem and his first albums would always be the like nasally awkward song, Hi, my name is like something like
Yeah.
that
There was
to
high
get the
entertainment value
people.
there. That was one
Yeah,
of
it
those
was
Mike Tyson situations.
the silly whatever
Slim
nasally and
Shady,
not
yeah.
raw song to
The,
make everyone excited to come in.
the blonde hair, the
Yeah.
rap lyrics. So he was like, straddling the hip hop sphere, being a legitimate MC, but straddling the entertainment because he had this certain look and he had a certain appeal. And it was what we needed at the time, I guess. I mean, my thinking is always with pop culture, it's either, if I'm not in my conspiracy bag, it's a reflection of what our generation is needing to consume. Like somehow subconsciously he comes into play because we're all looking for it. And at that time, it's because of we're consuming, boy bands, we're consuming, Britney and Christina, and the world is just very poppy. The world is very bright, colorful,
And that was
you
another
know,
curated group. I mean, we
all of
talked
it.
about someone you know in a certain show got really big. It
Mm.
was a curated group that was put together, correct?
Oh yeah, 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 for sure.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
in order to get the name out and get big.
Yeah.
That was what they had to do at the time. I mean, G Unit was a curated. It was like it was the Mickey Mouse Club of rap groups that didn't really like all from different areas for not really because you only had Young Buck and Game because Game was originally part of G Unit.
That's what it was
And those
fucking.
track.
Whoa, this group is tight, or the narrative was. I think they just do a good job of pumping their own shit up, which is what I realize now when I'm older. You sip your own
Yeah,
juice and
well,
you just keep on saying it. Say it enough
that
times,
that, that
everybody's gonna believe it.
there was I mean that was a underground quiet section of that too because that part was a saving grace. But when I look back at it, the major star at the time was like Eminem slash Nelly. But when you listen to Obi Trice,
Oh yeah,
there's just one song on there, man.
Obi Trice was nice with it.
Yeah. What is it? The setup song? I don't know if you heard his first album.
Yep.
You just want to talk about what it had Nate Dogg on it,
I think we danced to one of his tracks. To be honest,
dude.
pretty sure.
I don't know that the setup song is so sick when he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about like the girl setting him up or whatever. But then that whole album, that Obi Trice album, was like you overlooked it, but when you go on that album, you're like, holy crap, there was bangers on there
Mm-hmm.
from like the whole Shady Aftermath group. You
Yeah,
know,
that was a time. That was a turning point, I think, in music. I think that's when, if it wasn't, Tupac and Biggie, it was Eminem for sure that brought hip hop into like that next tier of, oh shit, this is like we're in mainstream, like news people are covering this, like, and it's not it's not a rapper getting killed. You know what I'm saying? This is a different type of, I
yep.
mean, people are making fun of them, but it's out there now. And then
I mean,
that kind of puts hip hop on a interesting scale now.
if you think about this too as getting out there, right? One of the biggest songs during that time of our senior year was "Bombs Over Baghdad," right?
Oh shit, yeah,
Outcast,
yeah.
right?
Outcast big time too.
That was far different than what most songs that they put out as their hit songs. That was definitely more of a upbeat poppy type of song.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
it was so dope.
Yeah.
Don't pull
Yeah.
that thing out unless you're
As you
kind of
do his
blind.
thing.
Yeah,
I was like, what is this? I was like, this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was probably my favorite song on the whole album.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope song.
There's
But
some
when it
other
first
ones,
came out,
man.
it's like, whoa, this is wild. And then from there, it became
Listen,
like Nelly and all that. And I'm like, oh, we spiraling out of control.
yeah, you had Nelly and the whole
This
everybody's
ain't
a
good.
Saint Lunatics.
This ain't
The
good. This
Saint
can't be good.
Lunatic.
We're going down a dark path. See that, but that was
Chingy,
more,
Chingy,
yeah, that was more poppy,
what you
right?
do
At
right
least not to be
there?
an asshole, but it's just it became more
Yeah,
popish. There's more money being kind of spread around now, which is I think a good thing. It wasn't so limited where I think the issue with Biggie and Tupac was like the first inklings of a shit ton of money entering the business. And it's not really set up that way for business, I guess, in that. in that regard because there was so much money coming in. I think that was the early days. I think when Eminem rolled around and it continued to branch out, Nelly, all that. Because once you see the Super
Well,
Bowl halftime being hip hop artists, you're like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
not to say
especially
the
the
Super
Super
Bowl is the
Bowl.
biggest thing, but in America, that's what motherfuckers is watching. And hip hop's already checked
Yeah,
off in every other country. So we're
I mean,
behind on the hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying?
it's only funny because I still remember where it was like hip hop was starting to go into the NFL, right? And they were about to accept it, and then like at the same time, there was a short time where the NBA had I think Aaron Neville or whatever, a country singer, come on instead of halftime for the All Star game, and I still remember like Charles Barkley was like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, dude.
At a
Hey, man, they was
basketball
trying.
game.
They was
It was
trying, man.
trying.
They was trying. But now that's all. That's all BET. You know what I'm saying? NBA is
Yeah.
straight close to BET. Freestyle Fridays.
Oh
Like
man,
it's.
and it's funny because like when you're saying that, even at that time where making money, people were making money off of ringtones, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Soldier Boy. I just remember going from a deployment.
Ooh, genius, bro.
I was going on the deployment,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden I'm in the club and I'm watching grown ass men dance to you to like I think it was 16,
Do
17 at the
do
time.
do. Soldier
So
boy,
yeah,
tell
Soldier Boy, tell him, yeah, and I was just like y'all dancing to this young ass kid and literally doing that whole thing.
him.
So, but and I'm like, that's for the kids, but this dude in the club is doing the whole thing,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, that was the first time also where I was like, I felt like I was stuck in a time capsule, leaving the first time, not the second time or
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
it does happen where you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
I go in on deployment. You're out doing your own thing. You're out there, going around the world, and all of a sudden you come back and you're at a club in Hawaii, and there's like dude with extra long t-shirts and armbands, white preferably, you
Oh
know.
man, that shit's hilarious. Yeah, that's when it was like, oh, this is strange. But
Yeah,
he was like the new version of MC Hammer, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
well,
Um, he was big.
and I feel like the new version of him is Little Nas X. However, many
Oof.
people consider Little Nas X actually really dope at like people say he's a good he's a good rapper.
Hmm.
I
Which
still
one is
haven't
that
really
one?
taken I Little
Is he the
Nas
Old
X is
Town Road?
yeah, he's the Old Town Road.
Okay. Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
haven't I
Yeah, I
still
don't know.
haven't mustered up my strength to listen to an album of his.
Oh yeah, no, no. I checked out
Yeah.
a while back. I checked out a while back, like in terms of music. I was like, that's for the youth now. I'm stuck with my
Yeah.
playlist. That matter of fact might be just different music. I'll listen to some shit. Some shit might get me, but I'm definitely in my own little world of music, which is totally fine. And that's what's cool. Back to the beginning of the conversation, music and frequency and all that shit, it plays a part. I don't know why, but everybody has an interesting playlist. And if you don't, that's strange. That's even crazier to me. If you don't have a playlist as a human being, if you're one of those weird people that are like, yeah, man, I just listen to the radio like all day. Yeah, when I get home, I
Mhm.
just put on the radio. Huh? You ain't got tapes, you ain't got CDs, you ain't got albums, you ain't got a playlist, you ain't got shit, you ain't got no. No, I just the radio's cool.
Yeah.
That's to me as crazy as you don't have any inner dialogue. Like what? You don't have an inner dialogue? No, just kind of walk through life. I don't know. Voices in my
Yeah.
head. What is that?
It's
What?
funny because
Are
like
you even human?
for me that's it's kind of like it's how I feel when some people who just like everything that's new. Like is
Oh,
like some people is like, oh, I like everything. You're saying that you
yeah.
don't like you have no balls to sit there and say I don't like this shit. It's
Oh
okay to
man.
sit there and say you don't like an artist or you don't like whatever's popular at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I
it's
agree. People don't
okay.
want to have an opinion, man. I think that's why people don't want to engage in any type of discussion
Th-
of anything.
I think that's what I meant by like Argent the not all of them, but there's a lot of our generation that wants to stay there where they're completely happy of accepting everything. And I'm not sitting there saying reject everything. What I'm just saying is like you don't have to like everything. And obviously this is a very extreme, but it definitely seems the optics outside seems like there's a lot of people who are holding on to accepting everything that's new and trying to be relevant in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's more to the whoever are the creators of the trends. Either they're not putting a lot of effort in it and they kind of just let loose. I'm like, we'll just focus on the young kids,
Mm.
or, but they're doing enough to keep us captivated. Because like you said, there's enough of us in, and the way I think about that way of thinking, and don't get me wrong, I'm sheepish too. I follow my dumb
Oh
things,
yeah,
but it's it's to get it to the point where I'm not even realizing I am, my life is being I'm being pushed towards something. I'm not the one walking.
manipulated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I'm at least I hope I'm aware enough to know that. At least because I can spectate on certain things. That's what I think. I could be fucking wrong. I'm probably the most sheep of sheep, but I know when I'm sheeping and I know when I'm not. And I don't know if
Mm.
everybody could say that about their shit that they do. I think some people are like, "Nah, man, this is how I live life, man." I was like, "That's." I'm not saying I'm not one to judge. It's cool if you do that.
We're
Um,
gonna judge. We're gonna judge
yeah, but that's
sometimes.
fucking crazy. You're like, what? Yeah, that's my new favorite song. I like this. I'm like, what? I'm gonna get that new haircut. I'm gonna go these new clothes. I was like,
Yeah, like for me, like
what?
I kind of like I try to listen to Lil Baby. I can't. I like it. Um, it literally feels like someone's mumbling and talking for the most part, and somehow it's the hardest thing ever. It's like, and I'm like, and at the same time, as a hypocrite, and hopefully he's okay. As a hypocrite, I used to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony,
Hey,
you
but
know.
they harmonized at least.
Yeah, so some of them, well, they are too. They
But that's almost
harmonize at the
like
end.
scat and shit. It's almost like, okay, there's some
Yeah, yeah,
musicality to it.
because there was music. I mean, but the thing is, Little Baby has musicality too. I just don't hear it from me. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because even when you go back to and I fucking love that the
Ski
scat,
da boop beep
yeah,
bop. Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, I remember thinking back in the day when it was like me being like, growing up the suburbs around a bunch of white people and I'm listening to scat from jazz. I'm like, nah, these niggas just didn't know how to read. But like, what is this? You
See,
know?
I get that. But see, it's so strange because it's like I agree, but then it's like, yo, that is something strange about that. That to me proves that there's a way of like expression and communication that doesn't require words. And it's almost like words sometimes get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
you could just portray it in that manner, whether it's scat or expression, you just need a sound.
Mm.
And to make songs from it, you're like, damn, dude,
I don't know
if that
why
could
when you
reach
said
people,
that.
that's fucking deep, right?
I don't know why when you said that. And I was like, that's love. Because
Boo!
people, because people can't, because when you ask someone what love means, it's one of the hardest things for people to define, right? But there's, like you said, there's words and things that you can't define word, but it's just a feel. And that's kind of love, right? It was like some people will be like, oh, well, I mean, even though that's me kind of defining it, I'm not trying to, but you know what I'm saying? Like for everyone, it has different emotions and different feelings on it, right? Throw it up, throw your lighters in the air. Hey, yo, we late at night right now with DJ Marky Mark. You know what I'm saying? On the Sky High, we just gonna talk about love, Da 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 da. Hey,
Oh, yeah, that song is so hard right
what
there.
is the
What
name
song is
of
that?
that song? What?
What
I
is the
don't
name of that
know.
song?
I don't
Fuck.
know. I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh, that
like that
song
put
is
me to sleep
hard.
every time.
Was it Enya? Who is that? God damn it.
Is it "Moments of Love" by Art Noise? Okay,
Ah,
let me look that one up. I'm gonna
that
look
shit
that
is
one up.
hard. Who Mike came in with that
Uh,
reference? God damn, that
yeah, he
fool had it
did.
on. He
Yeah,
had it. He was listening to that shit this morning.
yeah. Let's see. I'm pretty sure he's. Yeah, let's just see. Art
Yeah.
Noise, "Moments of Love."
Somebody had the album. That's for sure.
I know because I was like, for a very long time, I couldn't remember. I just knew what it was, though.
Oh
I don't know if I can.
man, I used to listen to that shit in dance class all the time, bro.
Hold on, let me see if you can hear it when I put on the.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I guess you can't hear it then.
No, it's all good. I already know. Just what you did. The whole song played in my head.
Right? Like,
Ah,
dog,
that's hella funny, bro.
just it was like a five. It felt like forever because there was no words other than that.
Dude,
You
but
just
it's
listen
so
to it late at
intense,
night.
bro. It's so
Yeah,
intense. Makes your
yeah.
back wet. Like, god damn, man, my
Back
neck
way
sweating and
and make
shit.
you want to go to sleep, and then you had nice like nice Willy
dreams.
Wonka dreams.
Yeah, man.
You
You know what
know,
I'm
like which
saying?
is
Oompa Loompas
was like
everywhere.
high,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? Thick ass Oompa Loompas. You know what I'm saying? Come
Right.
on, man.
I mean, they're mini me's. They got thick. I mean,
They
they're
got
short, but the
booty.
rest of their body is like of average.
It's
So,
banging. It's banging.
but yeah,
Hey,
I'll
man.
definitely put a cup on that.
I'd, I'll put a cup on that.
You know,
Oh, man. I'm telling you, bro.
yeah, shoot, man.
That's a good one. Yeah, dude, that could be the sound of love, bro. That's how I think of scat, man. When you were making that comparison, it's like I could see both ways. Like, yeah, it sounds like nonsense, but then to some generations, it spoke to them. So then in my mind, I'm like, well, then the fucking words is. I mean, it is important in the way that you use
Mhm.
them, but words is more like sound, and then it's more sound of sequence. So the words is like, even though they're technically words is how we know it, but there is a certain frequency and a cadence
Well,
that
yeah,
goes with it. There's a certain rhythm, obviously. So when
well,
we're
yeah.
saying that, it's like, damn, it's so deep in what words are and what sound is in its relation, and then how we communicate and how we live off of it, and
But
you
you know,
know all
what
that
do
shit.
people say? It's not what you say; it's how you say it. Sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are their words? It's like if I was to sit there and say, "Yeah, Ryan, I love you,"
Mm,
it wouldn't sound believable.
mm-hmm.
But
That's
I
true.
said it.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
the point of acting are words written down, but it's how it's delivered. It invokes an emotional movie, right? So it is the frequency of what you're saying and how you're saying stuff. I
Ooh,
mean,
man.
nobody else says motherfucker better than than fucking
Samuel
Samuel
Jackson.
Jackson, right? Right?
Yeah. See, that's a good point, man. Because then I think about that, and those are the industries that have a shit ton of money. But we're to
Yeah.
take it as a casual thing, the way that the narrative is with music and uh, TV and movies, it's very casual to us, at least the way they tell it to us.
Well,
But when you think about it, you're like, well, it's so fucking casual. These are billionaires, millionaires, and if it's so nonchalant, why are motherfuckers getting killed over this shit and people getting sacrificed? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here?
yeah. At the same time, like, right, they say that art is disposable, but yet in an odd way, art invokes emotion for the most part, right? Like you look at a painting, and sometimes for people, you're like, "What the hell is that?" Like that's just paint splashed on the wall in a living color, you know. But to some, that represents freedom, like no boundaries or whatever. Art is pretty much emotion evoked. You know what I'm saying? And
Art
yet,
is an interesting one I haven't
and
dabbled
yet it's
into, but
supposed,
I'm
and yet
fascinated by it.
well, I mean, you do dabble in art because you cook is an artistic form too, right?
Very true. Alchemy. Alchemy is cooking
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. You're like doing
For
potions and shit. That's what I'm doing.
yeah, and it evokes emotion. So art is like I think art is attached to emotion and whatever, but because emotions can be disposable, right?
Mm,
Like what is one of the things that they try to say about men that ruin the world? Emotional men can ruin the world, right?
mm,
But
mm,
but
mm,
you know, emotions can be fleeting if you only live off of that, right?
mm.
And that's sometimes what art can be. It can be very precious, very valuable, but it can also be nothing because everybody has it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And anybody can deem what it is. So it's like an up and down thing.
Mm-hmm. It
Um,
can be judged. It is to be
yeah.
judged.
Does that make sense? What I was saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. The theme is always for me is always like, and the fact that we identify both, because when you get that and I get that when I'm trying to explain something, and then I realize midpoint, like, damn, it's like both. It's like, yep, that is the weird life thing. It's like it messes with you, and it's never fully something to fully grasp, which is kind of cool. It's just you can kind of see both perspectives, and then you kind of fit in where you fit in. I think for like the expression of art, like, yeah, it's strange how some people call to it and some people like don't give a fuck about it. And it's certain ones, and it might not be the Basquiat, or it might not be a fucking what's that called?
Original Garibaldi.
Yeah, OG Garibaldi, or it ain't no like a what's that dude with a mustache? Goddamn, Salvador Dali. You know what I'm saying? It's not a Dali. It's not a Mona Lisa. You know what I'm saying? There's all these weird things. It's like, how do certain things call to people? Certain things don't. But then you also got Homer Simpson drawing. You got You got
Yeah.
origami. You know what I'm saying? You got pottery. You got all
You,
these other different things, sculptures.
to
Marbles.
be,
Marbles, I love. Marbles, just the idea of marbles and glass making, blowing, magnets. Anything. Just
yeah.
it's
I
so
should send you.
vast.
I should send you the pictures I took at Seattle where the glass blowing
Oh,
um
please do
thing.
so, bro. That to me is some
Uh,
weird, like, yo, that needs to be.
how do they figure that out? Because they had to get the right
Yeah, we
temperature
need
and
to
heat, and then to
preserve
blow
that
that. Like how? Like who? How many people died doing that? And who? What POT were you on to figure that shit out?
straight
Like to
up,
be
bro.
like, just imagine us back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always throw this out, and I'm not gonna say the N word, but just imagine us back in the day. We're chilling. It's 1994, 95. We're chilling. We're at the park. Like, yo, man, let's start a fire. Okay, dude. Yeah, let's get this fire really hot, man. Why is this fire really hot? I don't know about this, but I'm gonna throw this Kings Park sand on this. Yo, this clear substance is coming out of it.
It's hard.
Got it in my eyes too hot or whatever they did because it takes a lot of skill to get like how the fuck did
Yeah.
they do that?
How?
And even olden times where you're sitting there like they were maintaining the heat somehow,
At a consistent level, and then to temper it
like
and shape it. Come on, man. I
and
see
then make sure you
multiple
don't blow it
photos. Yeah. Yeah.
and you have to blow it up to a certain point, but you don't want to blow it up too much or you may lose an eye because of the heat and the glass that blows from it.
See? It doesn't line up with how we understand the old world.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it does it. I think what gets lost is how many people died doing it. For me,
No, I think
you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
think that's some magical shit, and they just taught some peasants, and just we remembered it, but we're losing the ability to do it. That's what I think about pottery too, and all like earthenware, those kind of weird things. Like even just building like huts. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no one out here can build a hut. I can't build a hut. I wouldn't
no,
know
I
how
mean,
the
if
first
everything
thing.
went down, if everything went down, and we had to figure. I mean, like, thank God. Like, actually, I thought that the other day. I was like, it was cold outside. And I'm thinking to myself, like, thank God for whoever decided, like, this shit's cold. I'm gonna build something called a house
For
to
real,
keep my
man.
ass warm from the elements.
I'm gonna take this shit on the floor with a little bit of water, and I'm gonna make some shit that will withstand fucking hurricanes and storms and ice. Motherfuckers up there were like, yo, I'm gonna take ice and I'm gonna live in it and it's gonna protect me from weather. What are you
What?
saying,
Yeah,
even, bro?
because
Like, who
I've
are
heard some
you?
people. I've heard like some people somehow survive in places like I don't know, like I'm just gonna say Alaska, but there's a way that people can dig into the ground under ice in order to stay warm.
Come on, bro. Have you ever seen those underground cities like in like Turkey and shit? Like all those fucking like 5, 10 mile deep, like got air aqueducts and stone doors and shit and walkways and shit. I'm like, excuse me, who are you?
Bruh,
Are we
bruh, like
around? Are
I'm
these
lost.
people around? Can we find the motherfuckers that know how to do this? Because we need to get with them and be like, hey, man, teach us. You are now the new teachers. Okay, all
Mhm.
you regular teachers that are doing all this, nonsense, get the fuck out. We doing this shit now. As of
Yeah,
today, you know what I'm saying? We starting these young kids early. Get those fucking Legos out of here. Here you go. Here's some mud,
yeah.
sand. We doing this shit old school. Because, yeah, I feel you. Without all this, I would die immediately. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, I got offered to cook. That's for sure. I'd be part of the village. I'd go roll up in there. What do you do? I could cook. I could fucking cook my ass off. I'll cook for all y'all
I'd be the
motherfuckers.
entertainment. I'll be entertainment. That's all I have to
You're like,
offer.
hey, y'all like music? I'm your
Y'all
man.
like funny?
Uh,
Y'all, we about to die, y'all. It's cold as fuck outside.
boo! Kill that
Remember
man.
that time? Remember that time? Hey, like right?
Yo, man, that's the truth though. It is. It's I'm of the thinking like that is just that world was just a magical world, bro. That's what I think. Because it's too far. It's too my monkey brain is too dumb to go too far back, and I can't really fully trust certain texts, and I can't fully trust certain narratives at this point in my life. But I'm more of the thinking that that shit was we was living in futuristic times back then. I think we just kind of shifted to different things. Not saying it's not futuristic now. I think we just dropped a lot of cool technology that was just easy to a lot of people. I'm pretty sure motherfuckers just go, throw some sand and make glass just for the house. That was kind of one of those things like, oh, I'm going to go Kinko's and make a copy. They're like, you know what? How many
Yeah,
glasses do we need? Six. All right, I'll be back.
yeah.
All right, cool. I got six glasses. Like, oh, what happened? went to go make them down the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Or just even the idea, yo, I'm gonna go build a hut. Like, yo, I need to build another house. All right, for sure. Get some of this, get some of this. Like, damn, dude, to do that, all right, how many, and if we're doing the evolution idea, damn, how many people just made something,
I'm,
maybe woke up and just buried in sand and mud and shit and died. Like,
I mean, like,
damn,
yeah,
man,
Lois and Clark, like, yo, let's get up. We're going from one end to the next. Like, think about the
Oh
fucking
yeah,
kids. Then,
yeah,
are
yeah.
we there yet? Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Oh, but
There's
then
these
they wrote in their
wolf that
book.
type things.
Yeah, they
Huh?
wrote in their book, died of typhoid. Like, oh, no, you threw them off the wagon, fool. You lying. When they
Yeah.
was on their way here, I used to play Oregon Trail. I'm like, yo,
Yeah, it
man,
was like no, it was like
they
no.
just
Shut
wrote
the
that.
fuck up. No, what
Mm-hmm.
they really did was they looked at him and was like, "You got nice cheeks. That's enough meat to last a couple days." Because what they really were fucking cannibals to
Hey,
keep them warm. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
that's what they say. That's what they say. The Donner Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. You know,
Like, hey man, hey, we got roasted
butt
black
cheeks.
chuck butt cheeks, right?
Got Black Chuck with where Black Chuck at?
Yeah,
He
like
right
where's
there.
Black Chuck? Yeah,
Black
no, no,
Chuck.
no, that's Black Tyrone right there. You know what
Oh
I'm
man,
saying?
boy.
Or like
What?
people like
Dude, that'd be scary, bro.
think about this too. Like like we know about oral hygiene. Like
Mm.
fuck, how painful was that when people like and how stinky was the breath? Let alone like you know what I'm saying? Like trying to get it on back in the medieval times was that like yo girl?
See, that's one of the bigger mysteries to me. That's the one that, my fucking conspiracy brain can't wrap my head around sometimes because I'm like, that's the that's the hole in the theory. I was like, that is too far advanced for me to understand how that came to be. My only thinking would be that it was somehow of a way of our diet. There must have been some kind of fruit or some kind of food out there that if we eat it or chew on it, it will naturally like keep our shit like, clean. But to get it straight, I don't know if, there's certain
Not many
diets
people
that
had
help it.
straight.
Yeah,
I
see, so
mean,
if they got fucked up teeth, like how do we stop it from bacteria and all that shit? And in my mind, the only thing I'm thinking is some kind of food that at least sustain it
well,
for long enough for them to figure out technology.
I would say yeah. I mean the what was thought of a long lifespan was probably until 45 or something like that. And it's changed over time because of advancement of like oral hygiene to health and science or whatever. Because like when you think about it, like all right, yeah, like you said, oral hygiene, right? Well, these people, according to our dentist, like you don't floss, you're open to so many diseases and tooth decay and death and
Exactly.
and sometimes I'm not saying it's not true. I think sometimes that certain agencies and companies add more to their more severity to what they do, so it makes it seem like it's more important. Now, let me just play the advocate of the devil, right? Maybe during that time too, because they were surrounded by more elements, and the ones that survived become immune to certain, like, had a stronger immunity to certain bacterias,
Mm,
right? They were stronger to that, right?
that makes
It
sense.
was, because like what they say, like we adjusted to the cold or whatever, and say someone tries to do a cold ice bath or whatever, people have a hard time doing that. But at one point, people were doing that before and surviving.
Yes.
We've adapted, but what happens? We've also made things easier. So we for some that are, how can I say it? For some that are like aren't as strong, they get to survive longer too. And like those people have reproduced too and intermingled with the strong genes or whatever. And that's a really extreme thought of it, but does that make sense? What I'm saying?
I think so. Just like the playing field's equaling out because we're having to worry less and do less shit.
Yeah, and we're also not building up certain things because we have protected ourselves from certain things, so we're not building up the strength from it, right?
We're like
Like,
weak.
yeah, we're weaker because we've built up the strength, like the things to protect us from it, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's like a double edged sword. Is like they talk about mental illnesses growing a lot, And I'm pretty sure there was mental illness of our grandparents' ages and people who went through Vietnam. You see that they have PTSD or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain time, they had to deal with stuff like, we were 40, but we don't look 40. You go back 30 years ago, and we looked at 40 people that were 40. They looked old as fuck.
They
You know what
did.
I'm saying?
They did.
Because they had to deal with harsher environments at a younger age. They had to grow up earlier. You know,
See, a lot of those people are born like in the early to mid 1900s, and those times were just strange all around the world, man. If you
uh,
do any of the histories, and I like I said, I always read history with a grain, open mind. But damn, the way the narrative plays out, you're like, geez, Louise, man, what the fuck is going on out there?
say
you
Jesus to my
know,
mom all the time.
it's
Jeez.
crazy. Jeez, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because even for all that, it's like the world is just some other situation. You're just like, how is that in one lifetime? Like they lived that and we live this where, we're fucking playing video games. We're talking through air somehow with
Yeah.
frequencies. Like,
Through
what the fuck
ones
is
and
this?
zeros. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ones and
it's
zeros
so
out of,
strange, bro. I don't get it, man. That's why I was
well,
like,
it's
yo,
ones
life
and
is fascinating.
zeros converted into electrical current to be passed through either Wi-Fi or whatever. You know, I
Witchcraft.
only know that because yeah, it is. Whoever figured that out, like, oh, radio waves. What? My name is Radio, and I wave, and that's how I'm gonna
Ooh,
name it. That's how we figure this out.
radio wave.
This is all electricity being passed through us,
Electricity
which
strange,
is
bro.
that energy. What people will say, it's the universe and the energy, man.
I can see that. But is it free or do we have to pay for it?
I think everything costs something.
See, that's what's stupid. It's like if I look at the sun, I'm like, all right, that's energy for sure. That's making the whole world feel a certain type of way, and we can harness that, right? Okay, how we get lights and energy now. It's like if it's abundant all the time, like why don't we like? What's the problem? No, it's not. It's like Supreme. You only have six. Like no, why? You could. There's plenty. Nope.
Yeah.
So scarcity. Is it the illusion of scarcity or is it really scarcity? See, that's the shit that we can't fucking figure out. They make it seem like it's scarce as fuck. In reality, you're like, oh man, you probably got like millions of this shit. Clearly,
Yeah.
it makes no sense, bro. Help me.
I'll try to. As you help me, my dude.
It's all good, bro. Sky
All
high.
right,
I love you,
Sky High.
brother.
We're feeling it. I think we're both feeling tired.
Oh, we
All
good,
right, man.
baby. It's all good, bro. Thank you, bro.